Hey there, welcome back to the Aftereffects expression tutorial series, and this is Aaron. And in last lesson we saw about how variables work and what are the rules for them. And this lesson we're going to dig them further to know the basic concepts of variable. If you want to be formal, you can announce the fact that you are creating a new variable by preceding it with the word var. Var controller is equal to transform.opacity. Notice that you only type var the first time you using the variable. Now this is the bad example as you are using var in the last line of our expression. I like var because it makes it clear that controller is a variable that I'm defining. So I'm going to continue using it throughout these chapters, but you will see expressions made by other people besides me, and each programmer has his or her own habits. So get used to sometimes saying var and sometimes not saying it. For instance, if you see the code that looks like this, understand that both apples and oranges are variables, even though the programmer only preceded apples with the optional var. Why would a programmer do this? Because, like most humans, programmers are often sloppy. When programmers are paying attention, most of them try to be consistent. Okay, let's put variables to a real world use. To complete this task, we'll have to use a tiny bit of math. For instance, if me and my friends Raga, Sheikh, Vijay and Christo are playing cricket and I want to know the average score, I'd first need to list their individual scores. Next, I would add the 5 scores together. Finally, I would count the number of friends and divide the total by that number. I used a calculator for the last part. That's it. Our average score is 65.6. If you want an average, add up all the individual values and then divide by the number of values. In the following example, the goal is to position 4 layers at various places in the comp window, and to make the 5th layer automatically move to the average location of the other 4. So if the 4 are stationed at the 4 corners of the comp, the 5th will be in the center. So to get the average position of 4 layers, we'll have to add all their positions together and divide the result by 4. Or rather, we won't have to do that, Aftereffects will have to do it. We'll have to use an expression to tell Aftereffects to do it. Let's get started. If you preview the comp, you'll see that I've animated the food layers to move about. But the cat just stays put. The cat is hungry, but he doesn't want to play favorites. He's equally fond of the mouse, the bird, the fish, and the can of cat food. Our goal is always to keep the cat an average distance from his prey. To calculate the average, we'll have to add mouse position plus bird position plus fish position plus can position. Then we'll have to divide the result by 4 because there are 4 food items. We could write the entire expression as one long line as you see here, but that would be ugly and confusing. We'll use the variables to make the expression easier to read, edit and understand. Now select all 5 layers and then press P to reveal their position property. Add an expression to Kitty's position property. In the text entry area, type var space mouse position equals. You don't have to leave a space, but I think it will make the expression easier to read. Now pick up the mouse layer position property. Because this is only the first line of a multi-line expression, type a semicolon. Now press return or enter key on the next line and type var bird position. Pick up the bird's layers property, then type a semicolon. On the next line, type var fish position. Now pick up the fish position property and a semicolon. On the next line, type var can position. Pick up the can's position property and type a semicolon. So far, your expression should read like this. On the next line, type var average position is equal to, and inside the parentheses, mouse position, bird position, fish position, and can position with a plus symbol to each one, and then divide by 4. On the final line, type average position. Remember, it's the final line that actually controls the property. So the cat's position will be controlled by the average position of the other layers. The final line expression reads like this, and you don't need to end it with a semicolon. Now try previewing the call. The cat should always stay at the average position of the other layers. How is the poor cat ever going to eat? Before getting anything further, I'd like to introduce you to the world of parentheses. You can look at the simple arithmetic. 2 into 4 plus 1 is equal to a question mark. If you answered 9, you are right maybe. If you answered 10, you're also right maybe. Let's say you did multiplication first, forgetting the plus 1 for second. You multiply 2 by 4 and you get 8. Now adding the number 1, you get 9. On the other hand, if you start with the addition, you add 4 plus 1, which gives you 5. Then if you multiply that result by 2, you get 10. Either way, the answer is possibly correct because the problem is ambiguous. Mathematicians have come up with a complex set of rules to follow when they come across ambiguous problems. But you don't need to learn them. Instead, you can use parentheses. Just use the calculations that you want to be done first in the parentheses. This is why I use parentheses in the second to last line of the average position expression. If I had left them off, the expression would be ambiguous. What do I want Aftereffects to do first? The addition or the division? To clear up the ambiguity, Aftereffects would fall back to the complex rules that mathematicians have worked out. Among other things, these rules state that division should always be done before addition. So first, Aftereffects would have divided can position by 4. Then it would have added mouse, bird, and fish position to the result. But that's not what I meant at all. I didn't mean for can position to be special. I didn't mean for it to be the only variable divided by 4. I meant that all the variables should be added first, then I wanted the resulting number to be divided by 4. Parentheses make my intentions clear. I want to make sure that you really understand variables. So please take a look at these alternate versions of same expression. Look at this. This is an absurd expression. Why flying saucer? My point is that variable names can be whatever you want them to be. It makes sense to name them something relating to their function, like bird position. But I wanted to make clear that they are not part of the JavaScript language. They are words that you make up. Another programmer might make up totally different words such as m_position and b_position instead of mouse position and bird position. Get used to seeing different styles of variable names. And in the alternate 2, this time I removed all the vars. I like adding them because they make it clear that what follows is a variable, but they are optional, so some people omit them. Now look at the third alternate. Some programmers like to assign all numbers to variables. That way, numbers are labeled and you know what they stand for. Without the variable, someone might look at the expression and wonder, why is there 4 in it? The variable explains what it's doing there. It doesn't help the computer at all, but it's all useful for humans who have to read and edit the expression. Now, as you have gained the knowledge about the basic variable structure, we are going to jump into the next chapter, which is a complex one called dimensions. Thank you for staying with me. This is Arun signing off for now. Let's meet on the next class. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and click the bell notification icon. Take care. Ta-da!